Is Ben gonna press live or am I pressing live? Oh, there we go. Look at this guy's hat, dude. Ange, where's your BKD hat, man? That's what's really missing. You don't own a BKD hat? You're a bald man. You're getting hair extension, whatever surgery, and you don't own a hat.
Let him get that.
It's your own brand, bro. Guys, this man doesn't own a hat. He's not even ripping the bald community well. Wants to be anti-bald. I can't even do it. Guys, we got to trade. Who wants some Simone Fetecchio action?
Yes.
He's Italian, right?
He is Italian. Bada bing, bada boom. He's actually been playing for Italy, 27, 28 years old. This man moved from the Utah Jazz to the Detroit Pistons. And this does actually affect the Knicks. Do you guys know or how, why?
I don't even know there's a trade. What are we talking about?
Okay, so according to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Woj man, as of 1:43 p.m., that's 5 whole minutes ago Eastern Standard Time, the Jazz are trading Simone Fetecchio to the Detroit Pistons for a 2024 second-round pick. This trade also includes Kevin Knox, the rights to some guy I've never heard of before, and I think it clarifies which second round. And the second round pick is via Washington Wizards, which means whether it's Detroit or Washington, it's still a top 3 second round pick. My volume is way too high, apparently. Let's turn this down a little bit. I'm just super hyped, guys. How do I sound now? Am I better?
How does this affect the Knicks? Please fill me in.
Okay, how's my volume first? Is it better? Good? Awesome. So the proposed trade that we were all talking about for a little while was not us, but Knicks Film School and other guys. They were like, if the Knicks were to get Alec Burks, so Alec Burks and Evan Fournier does not work as a 1-to-1. Alec Burks makes 10.8 mil. Evan Fournier makes 18 mil. That is outside the realm of possibilities because the Knicks are over the salary cap. It would actually, if Detroit took on Evan Fournier, it would put them over the salary cap. And the trade exception the Knicks have doesn't actually make up for the balance. So Sherman Wood's saying it's because Kevin Knox was the Knick. Maybe that's not actually why monetarily, but whatever. I like the thought process. But Kevin Knox was one of the 2 names, and the other name is a guy I actually tweeted about the other day, and they reported is available, is one of the 2 names that the Pistons were making available from their lower tier of available players. So Kevin Knox is clearly not going to help Alec Burks get to the New York Knicks. The only other name that the Detroit Pistons have been reportedly pushing that's like a lower tier player, because they also may or may not trade Jaden Ivey, which would not be a part of this deal because Jaden Ivey is worth way more than Evan Fournier, is Killian Hayes. So now, if the Knicks were to get Alec Burks, it would involve Killian Hayes either going to the Knicks or another team for this deal to work.
I tell you what, Killian Hayes, crafty, lefty. I mean, I don't know how I feel about bringing another lefty. We got rid of one. Do we want to bring another one on, even though he's not going to be in the starting lineup if he did happen to come? But Killian Hayes has been like his career so far. What's he in the league? 3 years now, Joe?
3 or 4, yeah. He's I think it's his 4th. It's his 3rd season, and they declined his rookie option. So I'm pretty sure he's a RFA at the end of the year anyway.
And another Frenchman?
Yes, he is French.
The French have not worked out for us. We've had Ntilikina, we've had Fournier. Usually 3rd times, they say is a charm, but
unless we're getting Wemby or Rudy Gobert, I don't think we're getting a good French guy.
Joe, also, I'm sure you're not for it because Killian Hayes comes, Deuce and him are going to be going at it in practice.
Yeah,
and then at that point, it becomes a shootout. And
Deuce is winning. Shootout. I was going to say, Killian Hayes is going to go 1 for 9 in practice from 3, and the shootout's over, man. That's the end of the shootout.
I think Killian Hayes is pretty much Deuce in a sense. Deuce might be a better shooter. He's also getting more minutes than Killian is right now. I was looking at his average minutes, and right now he's 14, 8. He played 27, 16, 18. So he's not getting big minutes. I think that if he was going to come over in a trade that would get us Alex Burks, I would have to, consider that because me, I'm a big Alex. I love what he does for our team. Last time I was on here, I was just singing about this guy constantly. I think he's exactly what we need, but then you start to compromise the real part of your depth, which is your backup point guard. And do I think that Killian Hayes changes the landscape of like Deuce's path as a Knick? I would say probably not. Right. And we wouldn't even keep him towards the end of the year. Probably not a guy that we would look to resign. So
I wanted to comment on a couple of comments that have been building up. Thank you guys for waiting for us. I know we said we were going to go on at 1:30. It's 1:40. It's 1:52 now. We started around 1:45. Anyone on Instagram, make sure to come over to YouTube. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Any merch you want to think about buying it's the top right of Frank's head. Teddy, who's been sitting in here a little bit. Killian Hayes is not a good basketball player. I take Schroeder or Burks over him 10 times out of 10. The only reason we're talking about Killian Hayes is because he would actually
just make it happen.
Get here,
Right. Make it work.
And before the reason why we brought up Kevin Knox in the beginning was because Kevin Knox was the only other Piston available that would have helped monetarily get Burks over here. Valerie, first time I saw you commenting here, appreciate the support. If you can hit the like, hit the sub. No to all the names available. Almighty Finesse, also hell no to Alec Burks. Frank, you have some haters.
You guys are listen. Maybe it's just because he's older. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the style of basketball that I like. And
Alec Burks have the same birth year, guys. So in case you were wondering why he likes him, I think it's because of the year 1990. Am I wrong? Is Alec Burks born in 1990?
No, I don't. And I wasn't even born in 90.
What? When were you born? 89?
Yeah.
I thought you were 1 year older than me. We're all finding out some new stuff today, guys.
Frank, you're an old head, no?
I am. No, I'm not.
So, by the way, as this is
say
going, if anyone commenting or watching, we really appreciate it the whole time. If there are any trades that happen from now until like 3:30, 4 o'clock, whenever we're recording too, I have to leave at around 2:45, 3 o'clock. I have work at 4. Angelo, Frank, and then Vin is going to substitute for me in about an hour and a half. We're going to all try to like be here for a little bit. Bobby, appreciate the support. Salute to the chat. Salute to BKE. Any trades that do happen, though, chat-wise, send them in immediately. If any of us are not watching Woj or Shams right now, or like we miss it within the like 30 seconds to a minute we're happening, I'm pretty sure there will be at least one trade that happens while we're all here. So, guys, what the thumbnail we made, Ange, I didn't actually look at it before we came on. Who's on the thumbnail? I know it's LeBron and Dejounte for clickbait. Who else is there?
I believe there's Bruce Brown. Who else is on there? I got it right in front of me, actually. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I know Bruce Brown's definitely on there. Like you said, LeBron. Who else we got here? We got Jordan Clarkson, PJ Washington, Keldon Johnson, along with the other names.
So we talked about a lot of the names that are not Keldon Johnson yesterday. So I definitely want to bring him up because of the potentially him being available. Ethan from Twitter, appreciate the comment, man. If you can come over to Facebook or YouTube, appreciate it. If not, MBD. Knicks thought highly of Hayes before he was drafted. Could definitely see him coming over. I mean, dude, for another guy that's 6'5" to just add to the rotation or add to the end of the bench, I really don't think it matters either way.
You guys talking about Brown?
It would be for Burks. I was just commenting on this. I want to talk about Keldon Johnson, though. So the report yesterday was that Keldon Johnson may be available for the right price. Ange, do you remember who wrote that or who we quote tweeted that from?
It was Sam Quinn of, I believe he's on
CBS Sports
right now.
Sam Quinn, who's actually been a friend of the pod. He's been on the podcast before during this time last year for the NBA dunk contest and betting props for the last All-Star game. Frank, I feel like you are. I know I'm a decent Keldon Johnson fan. I know you would like Keldon Johnson's game.
I do. I like Keldon Johnson's game a lot, actually.
He would mention with the 20 mil, the 18 mil, 20 mil Evan Fournier thing. I was saying yesterday, Evan Fournier for two first round picks for this guy. What do you think, and what do you like about his game overall?
Tell me what you just talked about. What picks do you think?
Evan Fournier and 2 firsts.
Yeah. How old is he?
25, and he has 3 more years after this year on his deal. He's locked in.
So I want to make everybody aware that's watching me. I am paying attention. When I talk sports, I always link my sport fandom back to the love that I have for fantasy sports. So whenever we talk about these guys, it's not that I'm not familiar with them. It's that I need to go dig into their stats. So that's what I have. I have my phone. I'm looking at my fantasy stats. I'm looking at this guy, and the first thing that I see is that he plays defense. He rebounds very well, and he's extremely active on the box score. He's playing 20-plus minutes on a daily basis, and the guy can go and get you a bucket. and it looks like he can defend multiple positions, which is fantastic. How tall is he one more time? 6'7"?
6'5", 6'6". I'm looking up right now.
I'm curious
I'm
at his
looking up
height.
his wingspan too, because I'm actually curious.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson is. Let's go to Basketball Reference because they have all of the info available. He's 6'5", and I'm going to look up the wingspan separately real quick. So Keldon Johnson has a.
Keldon Johnson's $100 million player a year. No, not a year, but he's
he's 20 mil for the next 4 years. He's locked in this year and be 3 more. He's 25, turning 25 years old.
But he's
going to
getting
have him for his prime.
But he's getting 20 mil a year, so it's $100 million contract.
Yes,
right.
It's
that kind of falls in the line of good for us, correct? I mean, anything around that number is like golden because
he's so tradable, dude. And the thing is, because of his age, it's like amazing.
But you know what I like about the situation right now he's in is that he was a starter for his whole career up until right now. He kind of got yanked, I think, midway through December, I believe. He got yanked somewhere over there. So he went from averaging like 22 a game. I don't know if it was last year or this season. Now he's averaging 16.7. So you bring him to the Knicks where he would be kind of thrusted into the same role that is playing right now with the Spurs. It might be kind of a match made in heaven almost.
Wait, do you guys want to hear about the best part about Keldon Johnson as an asset? Not even as the player, as an asset for the future?
Sure.
What have we learned about Leon Rose being the GM or the president? This man loves de-escalating contracts.
What is it? Give me.
Can we see those numbers real quick? I know
it's a little blurry.
Little blurry. 20 mil this year, 19 mil next year, 17.5 the 2 years after that. This man is de-escalating as the cap is going up, and he's going to be 27 years old when his contract expires. That is a get right there and a half. I would give him 2 first-round picks, swear to God.
Joe, there's going to come a point where you're not going to get those contracts, though, always on de-escalating. Right now, we're in that kind of realm of things where we're looking.
That's why getting this dude as a lock would help.
For sure. Listen, I think it's a very nice contract. Here's my thing, and I always bring this up, Joe. With players like Keldon Johnson that are like very tradable, I'll just throw D'Angelo Russell in there because I think he's a productive player. No correlation to the Knicks, but they're around the same range of money. Do you have a little bit of say in terms of where you want to go? I know you could get traded anywhere, but why would Keldon Johnson, want to go to the Knicks and he's going to come off the bench and his production's probably going to drop even a little bit more? And for his long-term development, does it really work in his favor, Joe?
So the man already is under contract, right? So he can't really have much say in not only where he gets traded, but like him making more money.
Right.
This man's contract year is when he's 27 years old. Let's say, for example, and also he's on a crap team right now. The San Antonio Spurs are the 4th or 5th worst team in the league. Trash. And if you're coming off the bench for those guys, are you coming off the bench because you're not that good or because you started selling out a little? Man, you're like a multimillionaire. You're like 24 years old and your team sucks. Is this man going into the gym extra times?
I have to interject. I'm sorry, Joe. And right before I want to wrap this up so we can get to the super chat donation, and it's greatly appreciated. You're crazy to think that anybody would want to get off of this Spurs team, period. End sentence. They have an alien playing on their team that potentially is going to be one of the greatest players to ever play this game. He is doing things that we've never seen. He is probably going to win Rookie of the Year if Chet can try to keep it up, but Chet has been declining a little bit in his production, and Wemby has not been, right?
Frank, can I rebuttal you really quick?
No, I have to. I'm sorry. Let me get this clip off because Angelo made a really good point. Does he want to come to this team? Is it fair for his production? You have to look at it like this. We're going to be moving forward towards championship expectations. The Spurs are in a place where everybody and everything is out in the open. They have that kid Sohan playing point guard who was like a power forward, small forward the year before. Everything is up for grabs for the Spurs. So if I'm a 25-year-old guy that got signed and have a 5-year contract with that team, and I know that I'm going to have a seat at that table, the last thing that I want to do is waste the opportunity of being able to play with and be the sidekick to possibly one of the greatest players that could play the game. There's no shot. That's why, like, I would love to have this guy because of the contract, because of his size, his ability to defend, and all that stuff. That'd be great. But at the end of the day, I don't know if he's exactly what we need. He would be a great plug and play guy. But if I'm him, no way.
Thank you, Vin, for the $1.99 super chat. Much appreciated. Bring me Lauri Markkanen. We can get to Lauri Markkanen in a little bit. I don't know if I really don't think that's realistic at all in the slightest right now. I think the Jazz are just going to try to solve their lesser pieces and maybe contend for the play-in or the 8th seed. But to the Keldon Johnson, Victor Wembanyama thing, right? Frank, I agree. Victor Wembanyama is going to be one of the 3 best players in the league 7 years from now, 6 years from now. Keldon Johnson, whether he gets traded today or 4 years from now, is not going to be on that team. It's just not happening.
I don't think Wembanyama is going to take 7 years to become the best player in the league.
Do you think he's going to? He's 19 right now. Do you think it takes?
I think
more
LeBron.
than 3 years?
I think LeBron. Listen, I think LeBron. Okay, so it's deeper. It's deeper than play. Yes, can we agree that the NBA is an entertainment business?
For
and
sure.
That's why they literally are sanctioned as an entertainment business legally, and that's why these refs have been jerking us around. Again, first off, that's what's been really pissing me off about these games. These fucking refs. Excuse me.
Why the Lakers suck. The Lakers get every call.
Excuse my language. I just get fired up about it. But LeBron's on his way out. Yeah. Like, how many years realistically does LeBron James have?
I think
I would say 2 more after this.
Okay, so after 2 years, if Victor Wembanyama can stay healthy and play 3 full seasons, once LeBron James is out of this league, Victor Wembanyama will be the best player in the NBA. End sentence. Period.
Wow.
And it's not a skill set thing. It's not a stat thing. It's not a looks thing. The NBA is going to need a face. That's what you really have to remember. Like,
yeah, but Frank, I'm going to go back on you on that because I believe nowadays, just the kids coming up in this generation, I don't think anybody kind of wants to be the face like LeBron James.
That's actually a really good point.
Because like who wants to get the backlash that LeBron got with the politics, him getting involved in that and him just making comments upon things that I'm not going to say he shouldn't make comments on because freedom of speech is freedom of speech. But, he's got a lot of hatred for how he has operated off the basketball court. So I think nowadays, this young generation, I'm going to say this like this. People want to just like hoop and like go home and chill with their family, play video games. Like, I feel like there's a lot more, like, people are really locked in onto their job nowadays. As far as the NBA goes, like, all these young kids coming up, I don't think they just care enough to be the next LeBron James. Who wants to deal with that?
I have to go back on you on that. For the beauty of basketball, the thing that we love the most about the sport and the thing that makes it so wonderful is how rich the history is, right? If you really love basketball, you have to love the history of basketball, right? So with that being said, no matter what, there is always going to be that one person in every generation coming up that's influenced by the Steph Currys, by the Kevin Durants. There's still going to be that group of kids who are influenced by the Michael Jordans, by the Kobe Bryants, by the LeBron Jameses. So to say that nobody's ever going to want to take that mantle again, to me, impossible, because basketball is way too competitive, just like hip hop, right? Like, when you're a hip hop artist, you always want to be the best. You think you're the best. Same thing when it comes to NBA. There's always going to be a face that wants to be. If it's not Victor, somebody else will be it. But in my opinion, the NBA is going to do whatever they can to push Victor Wembanyama to be the face of the NBA.
Shout out to Kelly O'Leary for the $4.99 super chat. Sorry, guys, we're gonna get to your comments. We just prioritize our super chats for anybody else. We're gonna get back to these comments right now. Go ahead, Joey.
Do you think JB is out till after the All-Star game? Was the question she asked, by the way. I don't think he is. I honestly think he might play either Thursday or the next game after that. I think Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are cut from the same cloth. They want to play every possible game available. Am I wrong in either? And do you guys disagree with that?
I don't know. Does Jalen Brunson want to get revenge against Dallas tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know. Is it
I
worth
don't
like
think he plays tomorrow.
bro, this team, Joe, they're hanging on by like the All-Star break couldn't come sooner. They're hanging on by a fucking thread right now. Are we willing to do we need to listen? I want to win every fucking game. I want to win every offseason. I want to win. But at the expense of our franchise player, fucking chill out, dude. Sit down.
I asked this question yesterday. I asked this question when I was on with CP, who's in the chat. Look, CP, thanks for tuning in again. And Mill last night when I hopped on for their post game. So the Knicks currently are tied for the 3rd seed. They're 33-18. They're 2 games ahead of Philly and 4.5 ahead of Philadelphia in the 6th seed. Would you be okay if the Knicks just went 0-4 in the next 4 games? Brunson doesn't play. OG doesn't play. Grimes, Gretz Trader doesn't play.
No.
Obviously, Mitch is out. Whatever. Would you be
team?
okay
No.
if you wouldn't be okay?
Joe,
Joe,
let me ask you, Joe, you're okay with us going 0-4?
100%. Absolutely. It's the middle of the season. They'd still be a 5th seed.
You know Tibbs ain't going for that too, though. You know Tibbs ain't going for that. He's going to win every game regardless who's playing.
No, I'm not saying go 0-4 as in we play our G League team. I'm saying go 0-4 as in Brunson's out.
Would you
Like
be
Brunson
okay
sits.
if we win it?
Right. If Brunson sits out and doesn't get hurt or doesn't
Right.
aggravate his injury or whatever, OG waits till the All-Star break. Grimes either gets traded or waits till the All-Star break. Would you be okay with them sitting and then we happen to go 0-4 or 1-3? Is it the end of the world?
Is it the end of the world? No.
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world either, but I just don't think. First of all, I don't think they're going to go 0-4. I don't think they're going to lose 4 games in a row all season, to be honest with you. I think they'll find a way to muster up 1 win, God forbid, if they happen to lose 3 in a row. What's their next 4 games anyway? Let's just rally through.
They're home for Indy tomorrow. No, they're home for Dallas tomorrow. They're home for
Dallas.
Indy Saturday. They're away for Houston Monday, and then away for Orlando Tuesday or Wednesday, and then that's the end of the pre-All-Star break.
Yeah, I had them going 4-1. I'm pretty sure we went through this yesterday, but
You did, but that was pre-Brunson twisting his ankle.
we'll see. Listen, maybe our sources will tell us what other Brunson's playing or not tomorrow early before anybody else.
Well, they said that his ankle wasn't as severe. There was no major injury, which is really good news. And I heard that Josh Hart said I've been playing with this guy for a really long time, and I would know if he was hurt or not. And he's definitely not hurt. So that's good news. That's reassuring. I think that. Listen, if he can play, he's gonna play. That's what I think. So if he's gonna play, if he can, he will.
Hey, how about Josh Hart sitting out a game? Dude's been averaging just as many minutes as Brunson. He's probably just his body's more beat up more than anybody on the team right now. And
guys had 10 rebounds in 5 straight games, plus 10 rebounds, 5 straight
regardless,
games.
A few weeks ago, he was talking about his knee giving him problems because he was talking about his knee giving him problems because in this offseason, he played USA basketball. And he says that was kind of a change to what he's normally used to because he usually gives his knee. He normally just gets regular knee soreness I get after playing basketball all year. Instead of just resting, dude went and played for USA. Right. Plus, he played in the playoffs. Those are all extra minutes and all extra load on his knee that he has never had before. Now he's in the starting lineup. No Mitch, no Randle. He's getting beat the fuck up.
I agree.
He's getting beat up out there.
100%. Everyone that's tuning in, thank you for tuning in right now. We're at 75 people watching right now. If you're on Instagram, come over to YouTube if you can. Hit like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Anyone on Twitter, appreciate you on Twitter. We can see your comments if you pay for Twitter, I'm pretty sure. Also come over to YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the thumbs up.
Please.
We're looking to get that thumbs up. We had one of our best days yesterday. We're trying to do trade deadline every single day for the next 3 days, baby. We want some stuff to happen. More than Simone Fitecchio. I'm sorry, my fellow Italian man. You're not the best guy available, and you didn't even go to the Knicks. So let's get some real stuff going, Woj and Shams. Am I right? Am I right? So, guys, I want to hit this comment real quick. Cameron Goldberg, never saw your name before. Thank you for tuning in. What is a realistic trade for New York to do in the next 25 hours?
Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, man. So now you have to start to think. Dejounte Murray looks really good because of how these key pieces that we have are starting to get banged up, right? So you have to think when you start to, like earlier I was saying, we're going to have championship aspirations. Now these picks, you accumulate all these picks now. If you keep them, great. If you don't, now you use them for the assets to bring people in. So if we start throwing first rounders, it's going to make us look desperate, which I worry about. And I know teams also can smell blood in the water, and the Knicks kind of seem like we're bleed. We got a little hemorrhaging wound, a little bit with our injuries.
You're right, Frank. You're right.
And that's something also that I'm worried about. But at this point, you kind of got to shake and move how you got to do it. I always how I feel about Alex Burks, but I'm thinking that this guy Brunson's going to need some help, and you got to get another guard. And I think the starting guard's Dejounte Murray. If we're gonna maintain this ship and keep it afloat, I hate to say it because I knew he was the most expensive piece. I think that's the guy. If I was a GM and I had to pull the trigger, it's probably going to have to be him.
Is that the most likely move, though? Like, what do you think is most likely
they're saying that has the most steam right now. So
Joey,
I gotta.
We really know, we've been hearing the same kind of names for about a month or so, right? We've been hearing Brogdon, Bruce Brown, and the name who are we just talking about right now?
Alec Burks and Dejounte Murray. Probably been the four
right.
most.
We've been hearing the same four names for about a month, and we haven't heard that any which one of them is higher on the Knicks radar than the other. We've heard sometimes Brown was, we've heard sometimes Clarkson, even Jordan Clarkson was. The reports are all over the place, guys.
Right.
So here's my thing. Joe, you were always saying all along Dejounte Murray, that's the number one, not the number one target, but kind of the best talent, the best player available of the bunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is.
So now that we're at the point that Frank said where we're kind of falling apart, right? We're just kind of just teetering on the wire right now. I've always been a proponent of Dejounte Murray. I just want the Knicks to have a plan that if you get a guy like Dejounte Murray that requires 32 to 36 minutes a game and requires 15 to 18 shots a game, how can you keep Dante DiVincenzo's production the same? Because that's what I worry. We're on the hottest streak that we've been in how many years? Dante DiVincenzo is the guy that's kind of leading the pack, right? We knew what Brunson was going to give this year, kind of. He's even elevated his game. Randle elevated his game. Everybody's elevated their games. Dante DiVincenzo came over. Grimes was starting at the beginning of the year. DiVincenzo took that spot over. Knicks just started climbing the rankings, right? So as much as I want Dejounte Murray to start next to Brunson, how can we still have the cohesiveness that we have right now with Dante in that lineup?
You want to know that? Do you mind?
Sure,
Joe?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
You want to know what the real answer is, but unfortunately, it's going to completely render this entire live useless. We don't do anything.
I don't see that. I don't see them not happening.
No. Listen, because you have to think of it this way, right? Because everywhere we're coming from is from a landscape of lost. Right. Every time we have these conversations coming from a place where we have to react off of something that happened.
Yeah.
So you got to think we have Mitchell Robinson in the wing, who is one of the top, if not the top, defensive rated centers in the league. We've seen Hartenstein be able to facilitate offenses and blossom into the player that he could be when he's a starter. We see what he's capable of, right? Julius Randle, who has been dominant since he started feeling better and then he gets hurt. All these things, DiVincenzo has been shooting the highest three-point percentage since he's the third highest three-point percentage in the league since he started, right? So these guys you're really starting to see your team blossom into where you want them to really be. So then the question really rises, as Knicks fans and as New York fans, where our news cycle is much faster than even the internet. We created the news cycle, right? So we start to get in this place where we're like, what do we do? How do we fix this? How do we make this better? How do we stop, put a Band-Aid here, put a Band-Aid there? At the end of the day, if we were to leave this team alone and we were going to get healthy and we knew we can get healthy and play together, I think that we would be the team that we wouldn't even be having this conversation. And that's the biggest problem when it comes to New York, is that you get that knee-jerk reaction and you're like, man, we got to trade for somebody. We need a score. We need to score. Look what our team is becoming. we lost a piece, and then we got a guy that literally came in as Dante DiVincenzo and started shooting the 3-point ball better than 90% of the league, 95, 97% of the league, right? Like you got this guy, Deuce McBride, who you were like, we don't even know if he's a starting caliber point or a backup point guard in the NBA. You start giving this guy minutes, all of a sudden you start to see him produce and hit big shots. Not only produce, hit big shots.
Big fucking shots.
McBride, since the trade, has been shooting 42% from 3.
Dude, we got OG Anunoby who's going to come back and who can solidify and glue that when listen, if Brunson has to miss the next 4 games, let him miss it, right? You let him miss it. You let Deuce start. He gets more exposure because then if we go into the playoffs, now you got your backup point guard getting starting minutes and progression in those starting minutes and have that experience. I like where the Knicks are at. I'll talk trade all day because we gotta.
Trade talk, honestly, a lot of the times is more fun than talking about gameplay. It's like you watch post games here and there. It's like you go KFTV, KFS. If anyone can tune into us, Mill does great work in post games. Absolutely watch our post games if you can. But like
we're at the most we all watch right now. We're at the most people right now ever we've had in the stream. It was just at
103 people in the chat right now. Anyone
awesome,
that can,
man.
Like, share, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Let's keep it going up. We got trade deadline talk. We're doing the same thing this time tomorrow. AP before, thank you for the 99-cent super chat, much appreciated. But yeah, guys, like trade deadline talk is the most fun. It's by far. This is male soap opera. This is male General Hospital. This is male Days of Our Lives. Yeah. This is male Real Housewives of Atlanta, LA, Beverly Hills, whatever. This, that, and the third. It's like if you're not one of the top 3 contenders in the NBA Finals, you love this time of year. This gets my heart going. One way or another.
Let me follow that up with another. It wasn't a rumor. Bondi reported it yesterday that the Knicks rejected an offer from the Dallas Mavericks, and supposedly that offer, any deal that the Knicks would have done, supposedly it had to do with Grimes. It was centered around Grimes and Grant Williams. What do you guys think about that trade? If it were to go down, obviously it didn't, and it was rejected. But this was Bondi from the Post that reported it. So.
There's not a single time in my life I've ever watched Grant Williams and I'm like, I want him on my basketball.
I need that guy.
Once. Yeah, what? Yeah, no shot.
I need him.
Yeah. If I wanted Grant Williams, then I used to love Draymond Green. Draymond Green was one of my top 3 favorite players in the mid 2010s. Like I love that. I love that style player. When that style player is actually one of the best style players at that style. Grant Williams, is he gonna tank my team? Is he going to make a great defensive play? Is he going to get in Jimmy Butler's face and then watch get 40 dropped on his dome? Is he going to try to punk out Nikola Jokic and watch this dude put up a 30-point triple-double? Like, I can't trust this dude. I get it. You're not scared of anything. You're never scared of the moment. But you make the moment come onto you and you're not good enough to take it.
Well, I'll tell this Mr. Sherwin over here, Sherwin from YouTube, he said the Knicks have Precious Williams. He's 100% right. Who would have thought that Precious kind of would have took the role that he's taken and flourished in the role? I even seen him full court sprinting yesterday on a fast break, and Jalen Brunson threw him an alley-oop.
Man, he made that one move where he caught it and he tried to do the spin hook, and boy, was I hoping that one dropped, and it did it. It came short. Joe, you know how I love my post moves. I said,
do.
This fluid. The little bang, and they threw
it a drop step.
It didn't go in. It didn't go in.
It came
a little drop step.
Excited. I was like, let's go. Post moves.
He dropped off the drop step, but it was there. He tried. I respect.
No, yeah, he looks good. And you know what? Once again, when Mitch comes back, it just goes to show how deep we are. You can mix match. If you can trust Achua when you put him in. If Hartenstein needs a little bit of a break, you can give Achua those minutes when Mitch is back. Dude, I'm telling you, this team currently is so well-rounded, and we're just not seeing it because we're hurt, and it's driving me crazy. Quinn
4 of our best 8 players are out right now. Like that's wild for us to be.
Dude, you want to know what the Knicks are? You know what the Knicks are missing? We're missing veterans.
Oh, you just hit Angelo right in the heart, man.
I mean, but that's what
right now.
But look at all these teams. We're going out for these guys that are these young guns that need looks. Like We have the talent. We just need the wisdom and the guidance. And that's why you bring in, that's why I would have loved to have kept Derrick Rose. I would have loved to have Derrick Rose and Jalen Brunson on the same team. Could you imagine having Jalen Brunson come out and then just having basically Jalen Brunson go back in, but just older?
Yeah, I think, listen, Joe already knows how I feel about just having a good old vet. I'm stoked to have Taj back on that team, on the bench, in that locker
room. He put up
room.
that 3. I was like, let's go.
Hey, things happen. You know there's going to be somebody you could go to calm you down and bring you back to normality. It's always good to have that. But you got a guy like Derrick Rose, Frank, I mean, he still wants to play basketball, and I don't blame him. You know, he's still, whether it's given 10 minutes or 20 minutes, Derrick Rose, I'm not saying he's not capable, but he believes that he could still impact the basketball team. And I think he could have, if that team was in full health with the Grizzlies. He would have been a nice little piece for them off the bench, and I was happy as hell to see him back on the garden floor last night. That's for sure.
Well, Derrick Rose gives you more than just on the court impact. And that's the beauty of Derrick Rose. And unfortunately, that Memphis team has been absolutely decimated. Yeah. And it's a shame. And it's really a shame. I don't want to get into, you know, the whole Jazz stuff, but I like I like the idea of bring Klay, the Jimmy Burns.
Let's bring that up. I know Vin's been a proponent of that for a little while. Jimmy Burns from YouTube says, bring in Klay. You could get him for nothing.
Can I, since I'm back, can I explain why you cannot get Klay for nothing?
Sure.
Makes $35 million. In order to match that salary, it's Evan Fournier plus Mitchell Robinson. Are you giving? And then they probably are going to try to ask for first round picks because
I would do that. I would do that right now. 100. What? Yes.
Bro, Klay Thompson's washed, man. I know when I say Klay Thompson's washed, it's like he's still one of the best 3-point shooters in the league.
Klay Thompson is one of the greatest.
He's not a two-way player anymore. He's not that. He's just not what you think he is.
Bro,
his legs have hurt too much for too long.
Yeah,
he's not worth what he makes.
I guess. No, he's definitely not worth the money.
I tell you right now, though, I feel hella bad for him. I don't know if you guys seen that post game the other day of Klay, and they asked him about like not closing the games, and you heard Draymond in the background say, "What the fuck they asking you? You didn't close the game, motherfucker. I didn't play game 5 of the finals." Blah, blah, blah. You know, Draymond, he's always a little nutty. But Klay gave like an honest reaction, and you know, he's just kind of down on himself. He understands that like this is the latter part of his career, the ending of his career.
Time is undefeated.
And when you realize
that LeBron and Tom Brady,
when you're not putting up the same production as you were, I'm sure it just gets upsetting. You know, you're with the same guys when you were an all NBA player. You could guard anybody. You could put up 35 on 3 dribbles, you know, whatever that crazy stat was. So that's one thing. I feel hella bad for Klay Thompson in the situation that he's in. But listen, the guy's making 30-something million a year.
The only way I would trade for Klay Thompson, right? It's that one, I feel like I'm admitting the Knicks aren't making the finals or getting as far as they possibly could. Because for me to rely on Klay Thompson, take up major minutes or money within the rotation, and then potentially get hurt. I can't rely on Klay Thompson as much as I can rely on Malcolm Brogdon to actually stay healthy. And we already have an injury problem right now. If I'm signing Klay Thompson and trading away assets, Fournier, and then Mitch or someone else, whatever the money is, then I'm solely doing it to clear cap space to give OG the raise he's going to get in the offseason. I'm doing it solely as like a future move. I'm not doing it because I'm like, we can win the title this year. And I think the Knicks actually think they can make the finals right now. So I'm not doing that move.
I also think they can. I think that this team fully healthy can make the finals.
Joe, I think that you don't believe the Knicks to make the finals.
No, I lied. Okay. By the way, he makes $43 million. So it's Fournier and Mitch is not even getting you there.
That's stupid.
What was I saying? Joe, I don't think that you think the Knicks can make the NBA finals, though. I think the Knicks, the players, they believe more than what the media is telling us, more than what we know. I think all the Knicks in that locker room right now are trying to go all the fucking way. 100%.
Well, you got to think before the injury, we were breaking records for largest plus minus, right? We became, I think we got into the second position of the best defensive team in the league. And I think we soon then took the first position. So this team, the way that the trajectory the team took once OG came, and OG kind of just gelled into all those spots that were kind of just the open spots in between our team. I think that we became the type of team that's can go there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I said in the offseason, I've been saying it throughout the year. I picked Denver. I picked Denver and Boston. I have no reason not to keep that pick. You know,
I think they really do believe it. I think that they have enough to do it. I really
but if you're
do.
a player on this team, you 100% believe that. You have no reason not to. You know, like why?
Yeah.
A lot of fans don't either. Like unless you're like a gambling person or someone that like thinks of basketball through like numbers and graphs and stuff, and watches a bunch of other teams like I try to do. Of course you believe the Knicks can make the finals. Why would you not? This is the best team you've probably seen in like 20 years.
Yeah, I just think the Knicks are just kind of just so locked in, blocking out all the outside noise. I think in that locker room, it's such a cohesive group. I think Tibbs got that mentality of Tibbs where it's just focus on what you could focus on, is really like kind of rendering with them. Go ahead, Joe.
I can't stop thinking about Keldon Johnson either. No, I was just trying to point to that Teddy goes, he can't stop thinking about Keldon. Dejounte Murray or Keldon Johnson are definitely top two. And I would say PJ Washington's third. Anyone that listened to us yesterday knows that. Like, I'm good on Burks. I'm good on, I don't think I just don't trust Malcolm Brogdon's health and my history as a Knicks, Mets, Jets fan to believe this guy would be healthy in the playoffs. I truly, in my sad, pessimistic heart of hearts, believed that Malcolm Brogdon would get hurt within 3 weeks on the New York Knickerbockers. I just think that would happen.
Wow.
Somehow. It's just, Frank, you cheer for all the same teams as me, basically. It's all sad all the time. That's usually how it goes. What
a sad existence we lead.
Yeah. The Knicks, Mets, Jets, man. There's always next season, all of the seasons. All of the seasons.
Yeah.
Domenico Scalisi. That's a crazy Italian name. It's, you know, what name's Italian when other Italian Americans can't say your name.
Domenico Scalisi.
We actually had a super chat about this before. What about Lauri Markkanen? So guys, I know Lauri Markkanen probably is extremely unrealistic, but how do you think the Knicks could or would get Lauri Markkanen? And don't you think Danny Ainge would just ask for 9 first-round picks and Julius Randle to make this happen?
Leon Rose, I don't think wants to do business with Danny Ainge. Worldwide West, I don't think he wants to do business with Danny Ainge. I remember when it was right after the Cleveland deal when Donovan Mitchell went to Cleveland, and I believe Stephen A. Smith got some words from William Wesley. If anybody who don't know who William Wesley is, he's kind of just I don't know what's his exact title with the Knicks, but is he the vice president or something, Joe? Whatever he is, he's kind of Leon Rose's right hand man.
I came from William Wesley.
He kind of just said how the Jazz were asking for everything. Well, I don't know the exact words he said, but what Danny Ainge was asking for just wasn't realistic for the Knicks. And that's kind of how Danny Ainge has operated his whole career as a GM. We've seen what he's done with the Celtics. You're muted, Joe. We've seen what he's done.
That's why he's been great as a GM, because that's why he's phenomenal at it, by trying to rip everyone off.
He is the rip-off master.
Nothing against him, but it seems like the Knicks, or not the Knicks, but it seems like opposing GMs think they could just like get whatever they want out of New York. Like there's some like a type of New York tax. That's what I've heard. But I don't think Markkanen's realistic. I don't think
like here Markkanen makes like 18 million. He makes 17.2 right now, right? Which falls into the Fournier thing, but there's 0% chance the Jazz ask for Evan Fournier. You know what the Jazz ask for based on what the Knicks things are right now? They ask for Mitchell Robinson, they ask for Quentin Grimes, and they ask for 4 to 5 first-round picks for Lauri Markkanen. That's what the Jazz try to get. There is no Evan Fournier and a couple firsts for Lauri Markkanen. He's a last year All-Star. He was almost an All-Star this year. He averages 20 plus points a game. There is no Lauri Markkanen to happen for this team.
Well, you also got to think too, like I was saying earlier about us just being so wounded, like the last person you're going to want to deal with while you are desperate is Danny Ainge. That's the last person you want to have on the phone when your team is in desperate need for something. He's going to kill you.
Danny Ainge goes to the desert. He finds a helicopter that crashed, and he knows you're all billionaires. And he's like, this bottle of water's worth $1.5 billion. Take it or leave it. Take it or die. And you're like,
Frank, I think you hit it on the nose, though. At that point, we were kind of a desperate team, and Danny Ainge definitely fucking knew that. But at this point, we're the furthest thing from that. We're way beyond that. We're ready to whatever move we make is going to be probably the right move.
Right.
Hopefully.
I never come on stage, but coach, you guys are on the topic. The Lakers are reportedly optimistic about their chances of acquiring Donovan Mitchell this summer, just because it has to do with Danny Ainge. So,
No, it doesn't. Donovan Mitchell is on the Cavaliers. It doesn't do Danny Ainge at all.
I know, but it's full circle. Full circle.
Where does Frank go? Why do you keep
you gotta,
Frank
dude, you gotta, that feels weird when you do that. You gotta like warn me or something.
You actually take
We're
Frank's
the same
soul.
dude. We're the same dude.
You take Frank's soul a little bit. Like you just watch him like, all right.
Well, thanks for that, brother, man.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do with that. All right, guys, do you have anything takes about Donovan Mitchell having a 5% chance of going to the Lakers in the summer? Like, I don't have anything on that.
Cavaliers are on an insane run right now. How could anybody even have the cojones to post that?
I don't think Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are long for the same team. I don't think Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are long for the same team. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert are long for the same team, or Naz Reid. Like there are some guys that these are great regular season teams, but the modern day NBA is about space and pace and all that stuff. And just having a bunch of bigs or having guys that are too small. It's why wings are so prevalent throughout necessity.
Hey guys, real quick. I just wanted to say Dejounte Murray is out. He's questionable for Wednesday for a back. And people are starting to make rumors that it's because he's going to be traded. Just
Jericho Sims, Quentin Grimes, and Dejounte Murray are all out tonight or tomorrow.
I want to touch on that. Donovan.
What does it mean?
What does it all mean?
Donovan Mitchell. I gotta be straight up. I don't think anybody wants to go and play with LeBron at this point. I just think it's too that's it. It's the tail end of his career. I kind of was saying that at Kobe, the end of Kobe's career. It's just too much to just go play with him sometimes, to have that type of aura and play with that pressure. Who the fuck wants? I feel terrible for D'Angelo Russell right now.
And separately, do you know how we're Knicks fans and we believe everyone wants to play for the Knicks, even though that's literally never panned out in our fandom? Everyone does want to be a Laker.
But LeBron, there's so much
for a year. He's actually has a player option this season too. He might not be there. Or here's this: if you're Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and that's your threesome, is that not a finals contender for LeBron's last maybe good year?
They were supposed to make the finals with Russell Westbrook. What happened?
Dude, you believe that. Russell Westbrook hasn't been good in 4 or 5 years. Russell Westbrook hasn't been superstar good for 4 to 5 years.
Russell Westbrook also was in a terrible mental space when he went over to that team. That's when his career started changing. Am I wrong? When he stopped. It
took him a while to adapt to being what he is now.
And now the Clippers are reaping the benefits of the growing pains of Russell Westbrook. Unfortunately, like I was talking about earlier, about always the ego and always there being the guy that wants to be the guy. You're always, you got to break him down a little bit. Look at Melo. Melo decided to hang him up,
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it took Melo almost 7-8 months of being out of the league before becoming a backup for the Trailblazers.
It's a shame too, because I always thought that move was brilliant to bring in Russ for LBJ, because you got to think if you were to play Russell Westbrook when LeBron James wasn't on the court, you would just have LeBron James again, in a sense. And I was I thought that was going to be the perfect formula for that team. And unfortunately, Russ just couldn't get with it.
LeBron needs guys that can make bang threes around him, man. That it is what it is.
Oh, but Russell Westbrook needs the ball in his hand the same amount that LeBron needs the ball in his hand.
Guys, we need to kick Vin. We need to kick Vin off the thing. He just said waive Taj and bring in Kai Jones. He's got to Vin. You're banned. Get out of here.
God was born in Jamaica, and so was Kai Jones.
I think what? What? Okay. Guys, if you all want to leave the stream now, I totally understand. We're actually at 100 viewers right now. Make sure you hit that like button. We're at 98. We're down to 94. Everyone's leaving because
more than that, Joe.
Vin, stop coming on. Every time you come on, the number goes down.
We have Instagram viewers, so we're over 100. So Instagram guys,
come over to YouTube. Everyone hit that like, sub, buy some stuff. Stop kicking your brother off the stage. He's way more chill, cool, calm, and collected than you.
All right, sorry.
We don't We don't want Russell Westbrook. Every time you do that, Frank loses one of his Infinity Stones. He's actually at negative. He's at negative
I'm just
4
a
now.
Horcrux. I'm just a Horcrux.
Yeah,
at this point.
he's. Are you? Yeah. All right. Any Harry Potter fans got that? I love that you just said the word Horcrux while Shannon's
Harry
literally
Potter,
watching
baby,
me
let's
do this
go.
live. So let's get to
Harry
some of
Potter,
these
let's
comments,
go.
by the way. Sherman Wood, teams get hurt, but Knicks smell championship front office stayed on track with heavy Tibbs style. This team is built around Tibbs, which is kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Teddy goes, Markkanen so unrealistic. We don't need him with Randle healthy. And then Almighty Finesse goes Fournier and 2 firsts for Sexton. So I actually like this. What would you guys think of getting Colin Sexton and what would you pay for him?
2 firsts is a lot, Joe. 1 first, okay, right? Just because we have a fucking boatload of them. 2 firsts for Colin Sexton,
So when
when
you guys think of the word first, do you think of them all as the same?
No.
I'm not going to tell you I really know. I just think a first round pick is a first round pick.
Right. So if I told you that it was like the Washington Wizards first round pick and the Milwaukee Bucks first round pick, like, what does that mean to you?
It means that we're giving up a first round pick.
Okay.
So can I jump in real quick? So with the picks, obviously, you know, when a team's good, the first round picks at the end of the round. Obviously. Yeah. So these picks. Listen, I like Colin Sexton. I'm also a huge fan of trading picks for proven young commodities because that's technically what these first round picks are.
Like Keldon Johnson.
Your first round. No, I agree. I think Keldon Johnson would be great. I do. And if he were to get traded, it wouldn't be his choice. So like him staying with Wemby's not even his choice. What I was saying earlier. But regardless, I think that these first round picks that we have, Ange, they are potential based only. So you have a large unknown when it comes to these draft picks, right? So if you can get if you can trade 2 unknowns and get off a contract that you don't want for a guy that's a proven commodity, is Colin Sexton on contract?
I'm looking it up as we speak. Yeah.
There's a trade that just happened.
Colin Sexton is
Xavier Tillman to the Celtics. That's good. The Celtics
are probably going to win man. That man was stuck in hell.
Yeah,
I like Xavier Tillman. I really like Xavier.
I like him a lot. So do I.
I'm a fan of anyone that goes by senior. You know, if you have Tillman Senior in the back of your jersey, that's a good guy. That man is proud of his fatherhood.
Yeah,
love that. Shannon's rolling her eyes at me. So I don't know if that's a good thing for my fiance, but besides the point, you know.
I'll tell you what. All right, so that's the second trade, right?
What was the package? Xavier Tillman for what? Here we go. The Celtics. So the Celtics are sending a 2027 second via Atlanta and a 2030 second via Dallas to the Grizzlies. Boston gets Tillman. Xavier Tillman. Duh. That's for depth purposes, and they could stop playing.
That team's gonna win the championship this year.
Don't. I mean,
I hate to say it. KP's gonna win his first chip, and we're all
all
gonna be salty.
I want them to lose to the Nuggets so bad. I want them to
If I was a gambling man, I'd put my money on the Celtics.
I'll tell you this. So the Knicks aren't winning the Atlantic anytime soon, I guess, right?
That is for sure. Definitely not.
Currently instituted.
Their backup right now was Luke Cornett, which outside of Luke Cornett pretending to block shots,
It works.
It does help a little.
Don't.
Dude, Wemby does it now too, man. Have you seen Wemby do it in games?
It works. Yes, I do. It works. It's brilliant.
So distracting. It's so distracting. Oh my god! But dude, turning Luke Cornett into Xavier Tillman as your backup 5 and then your starter when KP's out. Oh my god, such an upgrade.
Dude, you want to know what he did? You want to know what he did? The brilliance of this man. He took the Kobe Shane Battier hand in the face defense, right? When you take the shot, you throw your hand up in their face.
Yep.
What he did was he utilized the same idea, but since he's so tall, he can block the view of the basket from the shooter because of the angle that the shooter
like 15 feet out.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh my god, that is so funny.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. I'm sad.
Of course, Luke Cornett did it.
Yeah,
legend.
I mean, he's 7'2" and that can jump over a phone book if he's lucky. You know, like
yeah.
Oh my god, Xavier Tillman's 25 years old and is 6'7", even though he plays like he's 7'1" somehow. I don't understand. I actually want to look up this dude's wingspan. You guys know I'm a wingspan guy.
Celtics got better. That's for sure.
They didn't get. I mean, they gave up two second-round picks in the next 6 years, so definitely doesn't hurt. Let's after I look this up, we can get off Xavier Tillman. Hold on a second. Xavier Tillman.
While you're looking that up, I just wanted to give a quick shout out.
He's 7'2" wingspan. That makes sense. That's why he plays
7'2".
so big. 7'2" wingspan. He's
I
got that. He's got those OG arms.
I just wanted to congratulate Walt Clyde Frazier and Mike Breen on 25 years of broadcasting. I know it's out of nowhere, but it's super important to talk about it because these guys are our guys. These are the voices that we grew up listening to. And it's awesome to see how much they enjoy each other doing the things that they love, and they inspired us to do the same thing. So, 25 yeyears is a big deal. So,
did you guys see the replays of them showing them from 25 years ago?
Yeah, it's so cool, man. Could you imagine how it was a little cringy for me to watch them watching themselves a little bit. It's beautiful, right? Like, it's a great gesture. The sentiments there.
Green looked uncomfortable.
He did. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, Green looked really uncomfortable. He's he looked like I sucked back then, which I get. I mean, when you're brand new at a job versus doing it 20 years in, I totally understand. Guys, we have a special guest appearance.
Hey,
this is Winnie. She loves the Knicks. She hopes Julius Randle does great in the playoffs. And
what's her name?
Like Green. Winnie.
Like
Winnie the Pooh, but she's a girl.
Got it.
Everyone say hi. All right, goodbye,
Hi,
Winnie.
Goodbye, Winnie.
All right, guys. So outside of Xavier Tillman making the Celtics winning the championship now, I wanted to talk about like Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson. It's like, again, with the Danny Ainge thing, like what are we expecting? Sherman, thank you for it. By the way, she has to get neutered very soon or fixed or whatever it's called. I don't know the guy versus girl thing, but it's gonna be a sad day for her. Our dog Baxter already lost his nuts, so I mean, RIP to those. Spade. There we go. Vin knows that, but Vin doesn't know when to stop talking about Lauri Markkanen in the chat. So there you go. Do you guys want to deal? Like, I don't think Danny Ainge is sending
he's not
Colin
the guy.
Sexton or Jordan Clarkson to us. It's just
it'll be three first round picks and what's his face? The guard Fournier. That's what he would want. He's gonna want more than 2 first round picks. I'm not.
Let me get 2 firsts, a pick swap, both those seconds you guys got going.
No. I would do like some crazy stuff. I would do is like Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton for Mitchell Robinson, Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier. And
you don't get Lauri Markkanen unless
rounds.
you deal Julius Randle, because then they don't even play on the same team well. It's the same thing as Mobley, Markkanen, and Allen 2 years ago.
I don't know.
That's why the Cavs kind of dealt him in the first place.
I don't know. I think you can run space with 2 4s. I don't think we would really suffer too much.
Neither one of them are good defensive players, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
No, yeah, obviously you're going to have to, if he's going to start, Julius has to go, obviously, but
yeah.
I don't know. That's the only way I would make that move, though, is if, like Colin Sexton, if I'm going to deal with Danny Ainge, the only reason I was saying that is because if I am going to deal with Danny Ainge, I want to get something back from this guy. I don't want him to just completely take everything from me for somebody that's going to come off my bench. I'm going to want to get somebody in,
What about Jordan Clarkson, Frank? We're on the Jazz, right? Jordan's
he's a Jazz guy.
Somewhat available.
Yeah, but once again, we're dealing with Danny Ainge, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. All right, so I have to go get off in like 5 minutes. So I want to get off the Jazz real quick. So Ange, again, the guys on the thumbnail, just for us to pretend we're going with the thumbnail real quick. It's LeBron James, which is solely clickbait. Dejounte Murray, which I know we missed that. We already talked about a little bit. And I wanted, before I actually leave, I wanted you to talk about the Tommy D thing that then Let's Talk Knicks brought up, and then a couple other people brought up. By the way, anyone that's watching us right now on Twitter or whatever, Let's Talk Knicks has blocked us for like almost a year now because of some weird fallout that Vin and Charlotte had for the New York Liberty, which was a dumb idea in the first place for them to try to work together. But yeah, so they have us blocked, but we do still manage to see some things that they post, like their ridiculous fake trade scenario that seemed like it was try to be sourced or whatever, but it was like Dejounte Murray for Grimes, Sims, Fournier, and 2 first-round picks, which, yeah, your face says it all, Ange, because I know you don't look at Twitter like that. You don't try to figure out what other Knicks people do. Ridiculous. Like, don't see it happening. But then that's where the Tommy D thing came too. So it's the same same news outlet go round. So like, what do you believe in Tommy D? Do you believe in source information like that? Or what are we talking about here?
Listen, I've actually had my own little run-in with Tommy D on Twitter. Social media beef. It's crazy, guys. Don't do it. It's corny. Anyways,
if you hate RJ Barrett, Tommy D came at you at some point or another.
In 2008, 2009, when I really started like locking into like the Knicks and just the NBA in general, I came across a website called the knicksblog.com. I probably read it every single morning for probably like 6-7 years nonstop until I heard that like they sold it. Tommy D kind of sold it or whatever the case was. So he's been around the NBA for an awfully long time. He's been in high college basketball. He's very involved in like sports tech. But like I said, he's just been involved in the game, been around NBA people for a long time. And I read his blog every day. I looked forward to reading this guy's blog every single day. So regardless of how anybody else feels about Tommy D, it has nothing to do with how I feel about him. We happen to just make amends, which is nice.
He's
but like
very
I said,
knowledgeable about the game itself.
Right. Very knowledgeable about the game, knows the game in and out. And like I said, it's just been around a lot of NBA people. I don't think he would call himself a source either. I just think he just gets involved in those discussions every day because he's just around those people every day. That's what I think it comes down to with him, you know?
Frank, you have any take on that, whether Dejounte Murray would actually happen or the sources that may or may not be involved?
Well, he's got to listen. He's the one guy that keeps popping back up. Everybody keeps dying out, right? So if the sources are there, they got to be coming from somewhere. But I'll be honest with you, when it comes to takes as well, I'm not much of the hot take kind of guy because I like to be calm, cool, collected, give the eye view, eye test and tell how it is. Sometimes people just latch on to what is and try to make it their own, because the internet is a place where, as we all know, the more eyes, the better. So, I mean, do I take him as a credible source? Yeah, sure. Just because of the groups and the circles that he's around. But at the end of the day, I'm only taking real sources, Woj. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take these heavy hitter guys. You got to wait for the real tea leaves to start showing because it's all speculation, and it's all speculation for the reason that we all do this. You know what I mean?
I think as Knicks fans, the order goes Woj, Begley, Shams, like in that order.
Yeah.
The guys
I mean, all three of those guys, like, I'm good. Like, if I hear something from them,
I believe it.
Right. I'm going to take that as I'm going to take it as fact. So
100%. And the only reason Shams is third out of the three is because Woj is CAA and Shams is clutch, and everyone knows that. So it's just that's
Woj
kind
is
of
getting
why,
the news first.
Right, exactly. Woj is just going to beat Shams by a couple minutes for Knicks news. Shams will beat Woj by a couple minutes for Lakers news. Just it is what it is,
Right.
So Cameron Goldberg, and I'm actually glad Knicks Are Nice just posted their comment. So what is a realistic trade for the Knicks? I just want to answer this really quick because I do have to get off right now. Knicks Are Nice. I wouldn't include Clarkson in this, but I do think Bruce Brown is the most likely to me personally. I would actually put it Brown, Brogdon, then PJ Washington in that order of most likely. All three of those guys fall into the Evan Fournier plus X amount of first or second round picks in order to get them. And the reason why I put Brown and Brogdon ahead of Washington specifically is because Brown and Brogdon both make 22 mil for the next 2 years, this year and next year. If they get them in replacement of Fournier, they are then next year the tradable expiring contract to add on to whatever. So let's say solely hypothetical. I'm just saying this name because I've been saying I think Devin Booker, once the Spurs inevitably implode, will be a Knicks, CAA's best player or second best player, depending on what you think. By the trade deadline 2026, 2 years from now, I believe Devin Booker will be a Knick. And I've said that on multiple outlets. And what I'm looking at right now is that his contract for the next couple of years is 36 next year or this year, 49, 53, 57. In 2 years, when the Knicks next year, when the Knicks have to trade for a guy like this, having that 22 mil of Brown or Brogdon plus a great player, whether it's Julius Randle or another great player that they get via trade, someone else to like really make up for the money. The Kevin Durant, Rudy Gobert trades involved great, almost all-star players going over there, plus 4 or 5 first-round picks, and then you get the superstar. You get the actual 1A or 1B superstar next to Brunson. And that's why I think that Brogdon or Brown are the two most likely to fill in the money for next year. And they actually add to the rotation now for the sake of chasing a title or chasing as far as possible the Eastern Conference Finals this year. And with that, I do have to get off, by the way.
Joe, before you go real quick, I just want to say there's nobody better than you. You're awesome, kid. I want to tell you, the way that you see this and the way you're playing chess, not checkers, we are very lucky to have you. I just want to say that to you. You're awesome, bud.
Frank, thank you, man. From one Francis to another, I really appreciate that.
I mean it. I mean it. You're awesome, kid.
And see you later. Vin, take my spot. Let's go, Knicks. I got to go to work. If anyone lives in Shelton, Connecticut, I work at Pier 131 2 days a month as a bartender server. Go there. See y'all later. Peace.
Later. So I'm going to just say, I think that
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Vinny boy? I think Brown's probably the most likely to be dealt to us just because you dip into a well you're familiar with. And I think that the comfortability that we have with the Raptors is it's really important. Like we were just talking about how if you deal with the Jazz, you got to go with Danny Ainge, and we just don't want to do that because we don't feel comfortable with that. We know what's going to come with it, but I think that Brown's probably going to be the most likely to come over.
Yo, see, I disagree. I think I'm going. I think I believe Tommy D, and I'm going to tell you why. As content creators who do this kind of stuff, we get hit up. We have people in the organization, and we do get hit up. And sometimes we learn some shit, and sometimes we're allowed to post it out, and sometimes we're not. And I think that Tommy D has the same integrity as we do, where we wouldn't want to ruin our name and brand for some made up shit for engagement.
Yeah. Facts.
So I think if Tommy D tweeted that, because Tommy D's not a bullshitter, he's not that kind of guy that's going to lie for engagement. He's not the guy that needs $8.
He's an older guy. What is he going to lie for?
He's not a guy that needs $8.50 from Twitter for 1 million impressions. I don't think he made that up. I think someone he knows told him that, and I think that's what I believe. I think Dejounte Murray is going to be a Knick. And that's off the strength of when me and Angelo get news, like it's real, and we put it out. And I think he's cut from the same cloth. And like
I am Aaron Rodgers, by the way, Carlos.
He has all those connections to the NBA, like you said. He's been around the league for a long time. He might know somebody. Who knows? Yeah. It could even be from the Hawks side. You don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, going into Joey's hypothetical though, Frank and Vinny, how he talks about hopefully bringing in a guy like Brown, and then eventually a couple of years down the line getting a 1A or a 1B, whatever the hell you want to call it, in like a Devin Booker. If that's the case, right? Do you see the Knicks when it comes to Julius Randle's contract ending? Do you see them visioning him as the third guy still? Because at that point, I mean, I think we all can agree that the production that Julius Randle gives us, right? It doesn't just fall off trees. But I think that we're all aware that him dropping down in production and having another guy come in is like obviously the most realistic option.
Well, how old's Julius Randle? How old's Julius? 28?
I think he's 27 or 28. Let's check.
Julius Randle's 29.
Okay, so you got to figure. What was this hypothetical? How many years in advance? 3 years?
Well, he has a player option for 25, 26. So after next season, he's got a player option for 29 million. So is Julius Randle going to bet on himself, not take that player option, or is he going to become a free agent and hope to get?
Well, that has to. So you have to think like. I would assume that he's going to opt in just because of how our team has been progressing. We haven't dropped the ball since Phil Jackson has left. We've not made one wrong move.
I don't know. The non-playoff run. There was 1 year that was
like a chance. The Kemba.
Yeah, but that's
Evan Fournier, Frank.
That's Phil. Those are filling. You're filling gaps. all these guys where you were just filling gaps, and unfortunately you got to pay this kind of money because that's the kind of money you pay these guys. Remember when Tyler Johnson got $50,000 a year or something, and this guy isn't worth $50,000. This is just the way that the league is going. So unfortunately, we have to make moves that are bad contract moves. But at the end of the day, as far as the steps that we've taken to put us in the right position, listen, what did we need? We needed first-round picks, and we needed to start accumulating assets. So who did we go get? The guy who was accumulating all the assets for the Kings in Scott Perry, right? We got all these assets. We started drafting a little bit better. We started to get an identity. Then what happened? We got all the draft picks. We got all the assets. They got rid of him. And then they brought in the people who can bring in the big names because they had a bigger play on top of that. So it's all calculated, all of it.
Frank.
No, but Frank, the main question, okay? Do you see Julius Randle re-signing with the Knicks, or the Knicks re-signing Julius Randle?
I do. That's my thing. So you have to figure, when is his contract going to be up if he doesn't take the option? He's going to be done after next year.
Next year, he's got 27 million.
So he's gonna opt in, no doubt. You have to.
You don't think that Julius Randle believes that he could get 30 M's?
Hey, fellas, guys, the chat's gonna hate me, but I think he's traded before he even has that option.
I think Julius Randle.
I think Julius Randle's gone. I think Julius Randle's gone. You can't
trade him with a team option because no team's going to pick him, because then he's definitely going to hit free agency.
Unless you work with him. I don't know. Unless you work with him.
Nah. The Knicks have done everything that they had to do to put Julius Randle in the position to be in a winner. How do you opt out on a team that has done nothing but spend money?
If Julius Randle comes back healthy off this injury, we go into the playoffs and we see a version of Julius Randle we never saw before, right? And we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't care if we win. We get there with the productive Julius. Then I want you to stay as our second option. Then if you play like with Jalen Brunson, how you've been playing all season in the playoffs, I don't see a reason to push him down to the third option.
Well, here's another thing too. If he does get pushed down to the third option, how's he going to take that? That's another question.
We've seen interviews of Julius Randle where he's been asked about. Thank you for the super chat, AP. By the way, we'll get to you in a second. You're the next one. We're up. So if you've seen these interviews, he says we need Jalen Brunson. I need Jalen Brunson. He's the head of the snake. He's like the captain out there. I need him. If that was the case, and it showed, and I'm sure they watched tape together and they showed this is why, this is what we're doing. I'm more than sure if he's getting paid what he wants, he'll go to whatever position you want. He's got family and kids.
The only way Julius Randle is leaving is if Julius Randle is going to be put into a winning situation. Every player's dream is to be put on a team and then be considered good enough to build around. These things matter. Like, this is more than just they're these pawns that you move around and you can do whatever you want with them. Like, I don't operate on that plane. This guy literally broke his leg his first season, made it to New York, and then we were like, you know what? Here's the keys, guy. And not only that, we're going to bring in people to spend money and get the right people around you. And we've done that. He's going to take that option. He's going to take it. There's no way in my mind that Julius Randle is not taking that option.
Well, I'm going to tell you some realistic. I'm going to tell you a realistic angle around if they actually built around Julius Randle or not, because that's not the truth. And it wasn't the truth for at least 3 years. Let me tell you, let me get this off and then you can,
Sure,
so,
but they're not doing it now. I just want to make that clear. I don't mean they're still doing it.
They are doing it now. They did it this season and when they brought in Jalen Brunson. But previous to that, they had, I say, for the half a year that he was here this year, I think they already were looking at him to move him. And this is RJ Barrett. We pulled in an RJ Barrett and they said, hey, kid, here's the keys. You're going to be Julius Randle's Robin. And for 3 years, they tried to develop this kid and saw no advancements in his stats, right? Okay. So they were like, who are we going to build this team around? It might be RJ. It might be Julius. Let's see what happens. And then it took them 3 to 4 years to realize it's Julius. Get this guy out of here. Bring in Brunson, who's going to facilitate another shot creator who's going to help him. And then let's get rid of this guy, RJ, because
you already said that he was the guy, and then they try to get RJ to be the guy, the second guy.
Did RJ and Julius come in the same year, Ange?
No.
Was he drafted
No.
and that was the first year we had Julius?
I think Randall was there for a year already, and then they drafted.
The year that Julius Randle started averaging highs and everything when he was our offense, that was I think might have been the year that RJ was drafted, if I'm correct. It might have been RJ's second year, maybe, but it might have been
RJ's second year.
This team was always going to be built around Julius, and then once we got the Jalen Brunson tampering in place, and we got all that stuff done, now we start to see really what this team is. Now you have the real opportunity to be like, is Julius still the guy or is Jalen Brunson the guy? But at the end of the day, you want the person with the ball in their hand the most to be at the position that's supposed to have the ball in their hand the most.
Well, hear this out. New York.
You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, Ange?
I hear you, but here's my rebuttal. And this is the only team, the only city, the only fan base, and I've been saying this, that will say, let's move our all-NBA, all-star player to a third option. When you got, let's compare him to the Celtics. You got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who have made it to the finals and lost, who have made it to the playoffs and lost. If you lose and don't win a championship, that is playoff failure. I don't care what fucking way you want to paint that picture. And not one person says one of those guys should be moved to a third option.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You ready? You ready?
And they've had more playoffs together. So give
Stop.
Julius, give those two the same amount of time as them before you start talking this way about them.
Two things. I don't want to hear about All-Star because Chris Bosh was the greatest Raptor in history, highest scorer, perennial All-Star.
Didn't win.
And he came but he came over to the Heat and he took that third seat and he started to fill that void and he became a how many time champion.
Okay, so my pushback on that is going to be, as you know, because you are a fantasy player, every team has a really good scorer. And Bargnani, Evan Fournier.
Let me get my second point off. Other than Joker, which big man has won a championship where he was the guy?
Shaq?
What was that question?
Other than Joker, who is the last big man to win a championship when he was the guy?
Dirk.
No, he wasn't the big man. Tyson Chandler was. Did Hakeem got
or
one?
Power forward. No, go power forward. You can say Dirk, right?
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. But you would also say that Dirk also had Defensive Player of the Year Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, all these other players.
We're going to touch on that after we finish this.
So what I'm saying is
Tim Duncan.
You have to,
Kevin
the
Garnett.
formula of this team has to be point guard, shooting guard, or small forward, and your power forward. That's it. And the power forward has to play third string because at the end of the day, the most points come from the
all right. So what you're saying is there's far and few two option big men who are title winners is
Yes.
your point you're making.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that in order for Julius Randle to win a championship, he's going to have to not be that guy. He's got to be what OG Anunoby was for us when he came to our team.
LeBron James.
That's what he needs to be.
LeBron James is the same position as Julius Randle. Kawhi Leonard is the same position as
he's not. Julius Randle's a power forward. LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard are small forwards.
I don't think
there's a difference.
I think as much as the ball is handled in Julius' hands, that's positionless forward play.
I understand. He's playing power. He's playing point forward. There is a difference, but he is a power forward. He's not a small forward.
I don't know. I think when you put Tim Duncan and who'd you just say? Like Julius Randle is not Chris Bosh and Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Bruce Bowen, guards.
Okay.
LeBron James, Dwayne Wade.
Okay, so Dejounte Murray, Donovan Mitchell is that guy you're looking for then?
Yeah, yes. Or Devin Booker.
A player of that cut.
Or Devin Booker. Somebody who is going to be a bucket getter, but the problem is you have to then transition Julius into that rebounding, boxing out, rough player. He's going to have to be more physically imposing, but not on the scoring side.
Let's get to the super chat real quick. AP, sorry for the wait. Do you think Brunson sees JR as his piece to win?
I'll touch on that first. So I think they're at this point, and I think we're all aware of the togetherness of this team in general. And I think at the helm of that is Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. We've seen just the other day after Jalen Brunson got announced as an all-star after the game that he had and after the post game that he had, Julius Randle put up a post on his Instagram, and it was him and Jalen Brunson. And I believe it was something along the lines as, I got your back, you got mine, killer. Congrats. So we kind of see like they're just ready to go to bat for each other. You know, one guy's out, the other guy steps up. The other guy's out, this guy steps up. It's just like they're really locked into. Listen, Julius Randle talks all the time about his goal is to bring a championship to New York City. And I don't think there's been another player that I've seen in my lifetime that has grown and developed. And like we've seen Julius Randle from when he came to the Knicks, guys. When he came to the Knicks, he wasn't even like, I want to say he was like the third option. Marcus Morris was the guy.
Mhm.
Like the development of Julius Randle and to see where he started with us to where he eventually
Amazing.
sees. It's truly amazing, like the development part of it. Like he was just a regular ass player, and now he's a fucking two-time All-Star.
All-star.
I'm sorry,
For the
three-time
Knicks.
All-Star, two-time All-NBA. You know, so I think Brunson really respects Randle. Do I think he's realistic? Yeah, I do think that he knows that they probably need one more guy. And like you said, Frank, it's just almost natural for Randle to just fall into the spot as the
He has to.
Will that be an adjustment for him? Yeah. But all Julius Randle has done every year and every summer is adjust his game to whatever the team needs.
But you know what? I think there's a situation where there's no such thing as like 2-3 there. You got guys who can score 20 to 30 on any given night. So once you bring in another piece, it's like if he doesn't got it going, Julie, you know what?
But
Julius
that brings me back to what I was saying, that our team is fine. We're just hurt. We're just hurt.
I don't think, dude, even though we're hurt, we lost 1-2 games. How many games did we lose?
Two games? Two, I think.
Like
Wow,
this is
I think we just lost the Lakers game. That's it, bro.
I think
Was that
this is
the-
about
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
the
yeah.
conversation we're having about isn't about like our immediate concern with the Knicks. I don't think anybody's really concerned what's going on with the Knicks. Even the media is saying like these guys are good. We're coming to the light, you know. Jalen Brunson's starting to get the coverage he deserves, the respect he deserves across. I think it has to do with people who don't want to get the shit from Knicks Twitter, so they're just fucking doing what they're doing the right thing now. But yeah, obviously, I think we're in good shape. Obviously, the injuries are a little concerning, but we see Julius on the sideline every game. If he was really hurt, you would not be there. You'd be rehabbing, you know. One more piece. We're talking about longevity now. We're talking about the future. We're talking about when it gets to the nitty gritty, the players, the X factors in the playoffs, and everybody turns it up to that next level. So that's what we're looking for. We need, like, come on. The book is out on Dante DiVincenzo in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Dante DiVincenzo is not getting 30 points in the playoffs. It's not happening.
Dante DiVincenzo was the starting shooting guard on a championship team.
He's a champion.
Yeah. I just don't see it. The book is out on Grimes. The book is out on Deuce. These guys are not playing like this in the playoffs. I think you have to bring in a ridiculously skilled scorer that scores in every level. That there's
Can I ask you an honest question? I'm going to put you in the shoes of these guys. Imagine being put into the largest game of your life and you don't play well. Would you want the book to be out on you?
Well, that's what they're saying about Julius, right?
Would you? No. So here's the problem with Julius Randle, and this is the beauty of Jalen Brunson. I'm happy you said that because it's a good segue. I thought about this when you're talking about him, and also because of one of these comments. So the beauty of Jalen Brunson that we've been seeing with Julius Randle out is that he was getting the Julius Randle treatment in that he was getting in the playoffs. But with that being said, with the healthy Julius Randle and with the healthy Jalen Brunson, who are you double teaming now? That's what Julius missed in the first when we went to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, the root of the
such a
problem
hard
is the
time.
Knicks had no other shot creators besides Julius Randle until Jalen Brunson came.
Well, those days are done. Now Julius Randle is going to be a much, much different player in the playoffs, if healthy, obviously, with Jalen Brunson.
And I'm excited for Julius Randle in the playoffs this year, man.
This team has something in their DNA that we have not had since when Mike Brown was our coach. and that is I don't feel like we can't win every game. I think we can win every game going into it. When we're short, of course, I'm nervous because we got to let these guys play. You know, the minutes on Jalen, obviously, we saw him roll his ankle because of these extended minutes and blah, blah, blah. But this team is always in it. And we haven't had this feeling since Mike Brown.
Mike
so
Woodson?
That's the biggest. No, yeah, Mike Woodson. Yeah, sorry. Since Mike Woodson. And that's something that to be excited over completely by itself. I don't think the book's out on Dante DiVincenzo. I don't think the book's out on – you can't say that a book's out on a 21-year-old. I'm sorry.
No. This team's
dude. This
team's got
no way.
Way more level.
I don't think Quentin Grimes has enough bag to be like he'll get us.
What's up,
steals.
Eugenio?
Like he got us a couple steals. Like he had a couple 3-pointers, but this kid is not. I don't see the hype on Grimes. His defense is phenomenal. I got you. But I don't even want to get into that. Let's go. Let's move on to some of these comments.
I think you're just influenced. I think Quinn Grimes is going to be a fantastic player.
I think Deuce McBride is way light years better than Miles.
I disagree strongly. I disagree strongly.
All right. Sleepy says Dante on the Knicks versus the Heat last year. Do we win? He would have been our little Gabe Vincent, our little, what's his name?
Yeah, I mean, we had even quickly was beat up at the against in that series.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the last 3 games, Grimes.
Who's the other white shooter they got over there? That white dude.
Strus was there. That was the guy that's on the Cavaliers now. It was Strus, Vincent, Caleb Martin. Those were like the role players that were kind of killing us.
I wanted to say yes, we have that guy now, but I just don't we need one more guy. What I was saying before, I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself because I do love Dante DiVincenzo, but I think we need to replace. He needs to come off the bench, and we need a starter in his position, and we need him to play those Max Strus minutes in the playoffs and be that little sniper in the corner.
All right. So let's just do this then. I think this is a good idea. Let's all agree upon what position we should trade for. Let's come to an agreement, and then let's say what the starting lineup would be with this acquisition and the bench.
Go ahead, Ange. You can take that first.
Wait.
Can we all
is it realistic or?
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah. The player is player X. Doesn't need to have a name. He just needs a position. So, what position do you think the Knicks should trade for right now? 2 guard? Is it the 2 or the 3?
It's a guard. I don't want to call it a shooting guard. I want to call it somebody who can handle the rock and play with Brunson and play without him.
We need a wing.
So all right. So Brunson is our point guard, right?
X
is OG Anunoby our shooting guard, our small forward?
Yes.
Okay. So then what we're saying is we need a 2 guard.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that 2 guard is going to play the 1 too, though. He's going to play some 1.
So you want him to be a combo guard.
Frank Dejounte Murray is a.
No, I get it. You want a
facilitator.
Guard.
Great facilitator.
You want a combo guard, but technically, if he's going to start, he's going to be at the 2. So then what's going to happen is now we have Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, right? Now we have that conundrum, right? We have Josh Hart, Grimes as well when he comes back, but Grimes can play the 3. So
I think
then
we're trading this hypothetical Grimes is out if we have this X player come in.
Okay, so then out of Hart and out of DiVincenzo, what do we do?
The Hart's going to come in for defensive purposes, and Dante's going to come in for fucking sniping. It's just what the game calls for.
So you think it's just going to become this we're going to have the burden, the gift of the burden of having too many good guards.
It's guards that play different things. Guards that
understand. So everything's going to be plug and play.
I would think if we're getting smoked and we're not getting enough rebounds and Dante DiVincenzo's not hitting his threes, Josh, get in there.
Yeah, you're going to basically have starters on the bench. You're going to have starters on the bench.
So then how do you think these guys are going to take that?
They want a championship? That's part of the team mentality. If you don't buy into that, then get the fuck out.
That is the Knicks mentality right now.
I agree.
That's the one thing that I think Tibbs has brought more than anything is that it's not about just you. That mentality.
Unless you're Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson, obviously. But get with the program. Guys that are, you got dudes like Evan Fournier who haven't played in 2 years. Get with the program, or you're Tibbs not afraid to do that shit. No,
right.
I don't care about your feelings. You're cool in the locker room. You're cool with Jalen Brunson's boy, but you got to perform. And we gave, and if we're talking about Josh Hart, and Josh Hart might be listening because he follows us. And Josh, I love you with all my heart. I think you're a great player. But Jesus, man, they gave you as many opportunities as you can in a blowout game, and you couldn't do nothing with it. You couldn't do nothing with the Rock last night. You can get us rebounds, but you couldn't put a bucket in one of the worst teams in the NBA right now that's missing like 14 players, basically a G League team, and you couldn't do nothing with that.
These guys are tired, man.
No,
These
I don't
guys
want
are
to hear
tired,
it. They're
brother.
professionals that
Nah,
have been doing
these-
this their whole career. How
these guys-
tired
I'm
are
sorry,
you halfway
Vin,
through the
Vin,
season?
I'm sorry. They're depleted. You gotta give Josh. You have to give him a
Frank,
little more.
I would
slack
say
there.
that if it just started happening, this has been
He's had 10 rebounds in the last 5 games at the 2.
nice. Are you a center? Then don't tell
The
us
guy's
you're a
been the
guard.
guy. How many steals has he had a game? He's
Listen, when
definitely
the guy
averaging a steal
goes,
a game.
when the guy goes public, when people on Twitter asked him, said, "Oh, he's going to play the power forward when Julius is out," and he responds, "I'm a guard," then you better play like one.
Let's go through Josh Hart's just last 3 games. His
Am I
stat-
wrong? If you're saying you're a guard, play like a guard.
Vin, he's a guard. Vin, he's a guard. He's definitely Josh Hart is definitely your Swiss Army knife. He's not going to do one thing fantastic. He's going to do a bunch of things pretty good.
He does have intangibles, but right now he's looking like the streakiest intangible man that's ever been on the Knicks, man.
Vin, they're tired and depleted, dude.
Frank, I don't want
Let's
to hear
go
This
that.
guy, hold on.
Wait. No. I'm going to rebuttal that in a way you.
Hold on.
I'm-
Since January 27th, this guy's minutes have been 32, 39, 43, 38, 42, 37.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to make this.
You want to know what he
unrepeatable.
averaged? You want to know what he averaged before that? 26 minutes a game.
Okay, now you ready for a rebuttal? Tell me Jalen Brunson's numbers, a year younger, through that run. Don't talk to me about fatigue when you got a guy like Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo out there, the same age.
And you're
Don't talk to me
seeing
about fatigue. And don't talk to
you're
me. Oh, I'm Stephen A. Smith in this. Don't talk to me about fatigue.
And you're
when
seeing
Jalen. Wait. Don't talk to me about fatigue when Jalen Brunson gets interviewed and they ask what Josh Hart brings to the court, and he says cardio. Don't talk to me about
fair enough.
fatigue.
Hey, listen. Fair enough. I like that. That's a good
Don't
argument.
talk to me
right
about
there.
fatigue.
No. It's a good point.
He needs to
listen.
make buckets.
I just think you got to be a little more understanding of how tiring it is to be like, dude. It's more than just that. It's this mental lapse that you have where you have this. You're fucking on a rocket flying in the great direction, and then all of a sudden now all these pieces start to go down, and your minutes are increasing, and the pressure increases, and the looks increase. It's a lot, and not everybody is the same, Vin. On a team where he can provide these things without having any of these kind of worries, he is the guy that brings cardio to the team.
Listen,
and pushes
I
them,
love Josh. We're closing this down in 1 minute because Ian Begley is live going over Knicks trades. I love Josh Hart. And everyone's saying, yes, we're getting 4 players back, but it's next man up mentality. This whole team is based off of you come in and do your job when somebody's out. And Josh Hart isn't, for the minutes he's getting while these guys are out, is not doing the most with them. The most I know he's capable of doing. The Josh Hart that came to our team last year, this is not that guy. I need that guy back.
I think Josh Hart will really show his true colors once playoff time comes around.
I have complete faith in him. I'm just upset he didn't take advantage of last night's opportunity to get his groove back, to get out of that slump.
We won.
No. I'll tell you what. You want to know what the issue is? You want to know what the issue is with Josh Hart? I'll tell you right now. In the last, I'm going to say every single game that I see, other than this is probably 30 games. He's maybe less, 25. He's only attempted more than 10 shots in that game twice.
In how many games?
I mean, I'd have to count 2.
In the last what? In the last what?
I would say probably in the last like 30 games, 25 to 30 games.
Give me the last 5. Give me the last
5. The last 5, 7 shots, 16 shots, 6 shots, 10 shots. And that's the last. Oh, and then he shot 11 shots on the 17th. And then after that, he hasn't shot. He's averaged 5 to 6 shots a game. I'm looking at.
You know whose numbers those sound like? But if he made them, those are like RJ Barrett looks on a like RJ Barrett was getting 12 a game.
The Josh Hart is not taking as many shots as you think that he is.
RJ Barrett was getting 12 shots a game. Anyway, we got to close this up. Listen, me and Frank argue like this all the time. We are Italian brothers, so
Oh, yeah,
imagine
it's
what
all
it's
good.
like when it's serious shit. Everybody, thanks for coming. We got the shop over Frank's head, bignickenergy.com. Please
Oh, yeah, we're good,
this.
Teddy.
Please thumbs up this because it keeps going through the algorithm. We get more plays if you do. We love your guys' support. We thank ADN. We've had probably the most viewers we've ever had at once today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same shit. Everybody go watch Ian Bagley. He's talking Knicks updates right now. Very reliable source. I'll talk to you guys later.